and we should
Yeah,
we
go
are
for it.
live. So we're 3 minutes late tonight. Sorry, guys. But, if you've been hanging around for us, we have been on here since. Well, myself and Daniel's been on since 5 to 8, and Daniel's got some great news for you in a bit. Paul's been on since 8. We've got so much we've been talking about already. Hopefully, we don't overrun by an hour again, like we normally do. I think we're going to have to do 3 or 4 shows, in a week, just to get it all in. At the moment, I've got Jack sat beside me, his sister Amy, glaring at him because he hasn't done the wiping up. Amy, I would like a lemon squash with lemonade and ice, please. And hey, my last slave died of exhaustion. If you're if you're watching this live, guys, thank you. If you're watching it on pre-record, thank you so much. Paul, host for Ghosts. I'm South Coast Ghost. Daniel's and his partner in crime are Bigfoot investigators. Jill at the bottom there. Everything paranormal goes here, whether it be a Bigfoot, whether it be a UFO, whether it be an entity, a demonic presence, a spirit, whatever. So if you've got something you want to ask us, pop it in the comment box. Visit StreamYard. It'll allow you to display your name. If you don't do that, just put your name beside it so we can address you formally, because there's nothing worse than we feel rude, and that's the last thing we want to do. We've just been speaking to Daniel. I'm going to let him do his bit first because he's absolutely bursting, and it is a school day. So when he messages me in the day, I send him a message, right? What time do you go to school? Because I don't want to interrupt you, do I?
Mate, you can message me at any time, mate.
But I'm not going to do it. That's why I asked.
Going to school is a tricky subject. Yeah, I'd stay clear of
that. Yeah, Daniel's been out. You are the world's youngest
cryptozoologist.
Cryptozoologist.
Nice.
And it doesn't include Bitcoin. It includes what does that include? What does that include, Daniel?
It includes all cryptids.
Cryptids such
as which are we got Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts, UFOs, all of it. We base our work on obviously Bigfoot. We're starting to slide towards UFOs. I'm starting to do a little bit more towards UFOs because it's weird where we've been and UFO sightings are around and we're branching out like that, aren't we?
It's what's called broadening your knowledge. Broaden your horizons.
He's actually 14 years old. I know you'll find it very hard to believe. He's been a regular on the show now 3-4 weeks. And the first week he was coming on, I had to talk with Paul beforehand, and I said, "Look, we got this guy. He contacted me, but it turns out he's 14 years old. But everybody deserves a voice here, did I, Paul?"
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So everything's 100% honest. That's the way I started South Coast Ghost, and that's the way I'll end it. 100% transparency and honesty. And he came on, and myself and Paul sat here, and we went, "My God."
I will say that Nan was there watching for that first one.
Nan was censor, was she making sure?
No, you can't say there's no filter on Daniel. There's no filter whatsoever. You can't stop him. And that's what he was like from the moment he was born. Like the moment he could speak, that was it. It just came at you, and you just go, oh, whatever.
Well, he's a very impressive young man, may I add.
Very impressed.
Thanks, Paul.
He has something more impressive that he wishes. Yeah, there you go. You got heart there, Daniel. Thanks ever so much. That's for Daniel. Thanks. Give him a like. While he's on, any likes or whatever will go his way. thank you ever so much. But Daniel's got something really exciting. He's for quite a while now, him and his team have been investigating an area of woodland down in the West Country, which they have heard of from locals and so forth. There have been sightings, there are unknown things. It is known also for its UFO activity, strange lights in the sky. And they've sent off some, I found an 18-foot print of a foot, which is basically quite unheard of. Even mine aren't that big. I can still put my foot in it, but they're not that big. And he's sent off DNA, and he's got the results back today. He's also got a big folder in his hand at the moment, along with that cheesy grin, because he is showing his excitement on the outside, unlike we're holding a little bit of reserve inside, but we are absolutely amazed at what the findings are. So without any more delay, I'm going to hand you over to Daniel, and he's going to give you maybe a bit of the run up to it, Daniel. Yeah. No rush, maybe the run up to you picking these DNA up, sending it another process. So I'm sure there's others going to be really interested on here. So up to Daniel.
So, basically, we started off just picking a forest at random, and we kind of went to the forest to see what we could see. And we were looking for where big cats might live or might have habitats. And we were walking up this ridge, and Jill here said, "Daniel, what's this?" And we both looked over. I gotta say, for about 3 minutes, I don't think we said a word to each other. And we were just looking over these two massive prints. So we decided to get a ruler out, started measuring it, and it went to about 18 inches. And Jill's foot went next to it, and we did all sorts of different comparisons. And we were sat.
Good evening.
Evening, Debbie. Welcome.
We then went and sat by an amazing set of badger holes, and I said to Jill that thank you.
Yeah, gin and tonic. I can see gin and tonic there then.
Where's mine?
Yeah. Hang on, Jill. What's going on here? It's a bit one-sided here, isn't it?
See what my life is.
If you come down here, we've got whiskey and brandy on our team, Jill. Don't worry about it.
So
Daniel.
Cheers.
We were saying so we were just sat and we came home, and I said to Jill, this could be a big find. So we went back up, covered the print, and we then decided to then cast it, and we were really excited. Jill got her hands very, very messy. That was
don't like plaster of Paris. Everywhere.
And then I decided to then take some eDNA. So I picked up a sample, and I didn't really think anything of it. And it was then until we then found we were having lunch, and we found another print that was just an indentation. I thought, let's just take some eDNA from that. So we took some eDNA from that, and I think this was then on the 4th expedition, something like that. We were on the top of a ridge, and we found like 8 to 12 indentations, and we took eDNA from there. So we got all those eDNA together, and as Nan knows, once I want something, I'll do it. So I emailed around. I was emailing eDNA companies, science companies, and I eventually found one, and they accepted our samples, and for my amazement, they did it for free for us.
Oh, nice.
And so we didn't spend a penny, which is great.
Best way to be.
And
you mean Jill
We like
didn't
cheap.
spend a penny, which was superb. Yep. Come on.
and it took
The banker mum and dad, you mean?
Yeah.
Nanny.
Nanny.
No,
That's funny.
I was right in the first place.
We were then just kind of then waiting for this eDNA to get back, and we were literally on just then looking for in case it came back as something, and we obviously got a range of evidence, tree structures, smells, all sorts of stuff. And then I had an email about a week ago, and I said to you guys on here that it's going to be very, very soon. And to my amazement, yesterday, I had one result through, and I told you guys, I told some individual researchers. And then today, I had a massive parcel arrive with a water bottle with pens that they'd given for free, and I had then this form saying Bigfoot eDNA samples 2023 final report. And I look at Dad and go, oh my God, it's here. The wait's over. We're here. So it's very, very common, very, very complicated. But it was, as I said, we sent probably about 5 different samples. And it came out with then 15 different animals. 15 different animals' DNA. Now that's crazy. So the animals are, you got a pigeon, a chicken for some reason. We had pheasants, deer, and then badgers, squirrels, and your normal lot. Your normal animals, your normal forest animals you'd find. Then I start to look at then the odd ones. So then we had obviously wild boar, which was very, very odd. But they are meant to live up on the Quantock Hills, but it's still surprising to have a wild boar's DNA. And then I look down and I just go, oh my God. With then the amazing, to my eyes, with old world monkey DNA and great apes DNA. Now the amazement to the company, they could not narrow down the actual species of this ape. They couldn't narrow it down. Now the reason why still goes unknown, and I don't. Yeah, and I don't know. And we still don't know. And from the samples, it tells me exactly what samples these were detected in. So the old world monkeys was detected in the footprints on the game trails. So we had hi Dora. We had multiple footprints, and that's the DNA from there. And we detected it from the big footprint, and it would make sense because these footprints were walking up to the main print. So actually, I can now rule out that this thing isn't just one print. This is multiple prints with multiple different things. Now, why we have old monkey DNA and and great apes DNA, it remains a question to me. And with the great apes, it's with then another different print that we found. So we've now got all the prints that we found now have primate DNA in it. Now, I don't need to tell anyone how shocking that must be for us to go, all these prints have primate DNA in it, and I don't know what to think of it. And obviously the company are going, well, let's hold the expectations for it, and now my thing is, there is no way that we are going to be absolutely prove that this was this. No way. But what the company can do is they can go, right, we are pretty sure that it's this. So we take that and go, right, what's that next step? And I don't know what to think of it. Now the weird thing that I think is we've got all of them are human DNA. Now so far I've been going, hold on a minute, it's just us. But actually, it could potentially be part of this animal's DNA. Now, Bigfoot is meant to have some sort of human DNA, and I don't know if that's native to America or it's with us as well. But there was one thing that I did some research on, is old world monkeys, when they existed here, they lived all up and down the country. So, who says to say that when people say whether it's not possible for it to come over from America, well, I go, hold on a minute. If this ape has kind of evolved and lived on, who's to say that we don't have our own Bigfoot? And that's a very, very good opinion, I think. And I think Jill agrees with me on this, is we are completely shocked by this, but we are trying our best to do more investigation into it. And it's like we have scat samples as well. And we went back to the forest and we and we got the samples, and I think we're sending it off. But a researcher analysed that photo and came back and told me it looks like baboon poo. And I go, hold on a minute, this is starting to link in. This researcher didn't know about the DNA. So that was his thing. The eDNA put it together. You then go, right, we've now got some sort of primate. And that's big enough, I think. That's pretty shocking, I'm saying, and I think Jill will agree with me there.
I do. I'm. It's just my thoughts are just so scrambled. I don't know what to think anymore.
But do you think
the trace running around? It's just on its own. It's just unbelievable.
Do you think that the traces, like the chicken, the badger, and all of that, could be a food source for it?
Absolutely,
that's why they've appeared.
Absolutely.
Why it's appeared in that DNA, or quite possibly whatever.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you on that. Is with you have deer there, you have badger, you have squirrels, you have possibly wolf/dog. I have no idea. And literally, I'm reading from this table here that is just covered with animals and just all data. And it's just, I think, if we narrow it down to the actual big question is, we've answered what is in this forest. We're now wanting to know what is carrying this DNA. What is carrying primate DNA in Somerset, UK? And that is crazy. what is carrying DNA in Somerset, who knows?
And it's
Who knows?
unseen. It's unseen as well, isn't it?
Mm.
So
Yeah,
that adds
and
to the mystery of it, really, doesn't it?
it's
Because
Mm.
it's
And
Sorry.
another thing, we don't know how long that DNA has been there. They don't give any indication that it's fresh, that it's a couple years old or 50 years old. We have no idea. It could be
so they
old
can't date it
DNA.
then. They can't
No.
date the
They did
sample.
not date it.
But
No.
Right.
I can say this, that eDNA runs out probably 6 weeks after it's been there. So I gotta say, it's recent.
But they
So
haven't
that-
verified it, have they? The actual
They
lab
they
didn't
haven't,
verify.
no.
No.
And
Yeah, but I mean,
but-
you said something about 2,000-year-old as well, yeah?
yeah,
I mean,
so it's
not been there 2,000 years, is it? And it's
No,
built up
and
and built up and built up, and
yeah, which is why
unless
I'm
you
like,
dug a hell of a big hole.
we haven't dug like
What's on
100
the
feet
market?
down into the earth
No,
to get
no, this
to get that eDNA. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But then-
Unless you dug one hell of a big hole, you're not
It's
going to
not-
find.
But it's not only that. You've got to remember how high the ground's come up, Darren, as well. From the early days of that, how the level of our ground has risen. So
You
would that
come up
indicate
about
that
20
it's
foot.
risen through the earth with it? Is it,
Yeah,
you know?
20, 30 foot, mate, easy. You know, you
Yeah,
come up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So unless they dug one hell of a big hole, you're not going to find DNA that hasn't been there for 2,000 years.
And the thing is this was literally topsoil, wasn't it? It was literally
Yeah.
topsoil. I literally that topsoil.
We brushed away the debris, and you just took the earth from underneath.
Well,
Did you,
that's the way
once you
it's
saw
anyway,
it,
isn't it?
once,
To know the recent stuff there. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, looking at it factually, not forgetting any paranormal or anything like that. If you scrape a bit of soil and you put it in a bag and you send it to someone, and they go, "Yeah, this is from a primate," yeah, and then somebody else goes, "That's primate poo," you sort of go, "Well, hang about a minute. What the hell is a primate doing in the last 2 years in the middle of Somerset? I mean, what is going on here?" Yeah,
and
it doesn't make sense, really, does
no,
it?
and
no,
yeah,
it's not been spotted. No one said they've seen anything like
but that's what makes it. That's what makes it a mystery, isn't it? Really, because it's not been spotted. The question I'll want to ask you is: when you saw the first footprint, did you look beyond there to see if it was a step? There's another step. There's another step.
We did, and I gotta say, and this is quite funny. We took Gramps up to go because he's also into Bigfoot and stuff, to look at this footprint. And do you know what? We were looking at the wrong footprint, Paul. We were looking at the wrong footprint, and when I took a photo of it, I looked at it, and you could see the bloody outline on this thing. It was
it was one we'd missed first time, wasn't it? So it was about three and a smudgy one there, wasn't there?
And I gotta say, it's from there, it was that, and then when we researched into the forest, and this shadow thing, do you remember I sent you the tree structure?
Yeah.
That's like I think 15 minutes down. So this is quite far from this footprint.
Yeah.
So, and we had to use a rope to get down there. So whatever this is, it is using this forest very, very smartly. I'll say that, and it's using this to really just kind of live. Now, I don't know whether this thing was there when we were there. I very much hope not. But
you do.
yeah, Tori, yeah. And
this brings you back to the story. You know, is it telepathic? You know, can it sense human surroundings and it can disappear in that?
I was having this chat with Dora, and I gotta say, I don't know. I'm more with Bigfoot I'm more flesh and blood because my mind will go to logic. But I have heard enough stories now to go, right, something's not right here. Something is different to how it is. And I've got a researcher coming to our event that has stories of seeing a Bigfoot going into a telephone wire and going along it. Now, to me, that sounds absolutely mad. But the way he explained it to me, I go, you're not lying. You're not lying to me. So you're telling me the truth. So I go, hold on a minute then. You have nothing to gain by telling me this story. So I believe you. And it's a really difficult world to try and get your head around. And this only proves that it's a lot bigger than it is. And I was talking to a friend. I said, look, it will take me days to walk you through what we found, what we've experienced. I cannot ever take back.
No. Did you when you saw the first footprint, did you see a stride pattern? How wide was the stride towards the second one?
Now the weird thing is there's a tree in the middle.
Yes.
Well, there was a tree in between the 2 and the 1. So if we were to measure that stride pattern, it would have to literally curve around the tree. And now I think about it, see, I keep thinking of new evidence. If we looked on the tree, could be hair sample there. I don't know. And
hello from New York.
Hello, New Yorker.
Yeah. Hello from Portsmouth. Jill and Daniel, Somerset. Doors, a little place called Haven.
I'm in a little country retreat called Surrey.
Yes, that well done. I can't
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to give us your name, whoever it is, so we can address you properly.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many I can have we are, to be honest. I think it's 6 man. Hello to who we've got. Hello from New York. What can you put your name up first so we can say hi and whatever?
It could even be someone that Daniel knows or knows of.
Yeah, I'm most probably, because if I just have a look on my phone, hold on a minute. I know one of the people on it.
I completely agree with that.
Absolutely, 100%. So what do you make of it, Jill?
Oh, it's Mike.
Oh, it's Mike. Yes.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, I'm very good friends with Mike.
Hello, Mike. Welcome.
Hi, Mike, buddy.
Apart from Daniel, obviously, and this William Hatfield from Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hello, William.
Thank you, William.
I will.
Look, hopefully you all enjoy the show. Obviously you've got groups over there, your paranormal, your Bigfoot, your so forth. We've got Shane Carson here. Hi, Shane.
Hi, Shane. Welcome. Welcome.
Coming on, mate.
All of these I'm very very best friends with
that's nice.
These scientists that are
coming on, and all of us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome.
We formed Puppy, Unified Paranormal Investigators, and just purely for what it says. Anything paranormal, everything unified, every team unified, and share the power love. And that's all we want. Everything we do is real. We don't fake anything. We don't associate with teams that fake it, and etc. But we do. And hi, Shane. And basically, we all get on really well, and we're best friends, and we're a little gang. and it's as simple as that. And
just a quick question for Jill.
Yes.
Jill, what's your take on this findings then? What's your take on the findings?
On the eDNA results?
Yeah, all of it, or the eDNA, you know, are you surprised that it's come back with what it's come back with, or?
Totally shocked. Let's say my kind of role is I'm trying to keep Daniel's feet on the ground, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a practical one. It could be.
You can't though.
Well, Jill, before you go on, you're going to have to keep us all on the ground now, love, because I'm sort of up here with it on no corner.
Come on, settle down, everyone.
Honestly, no, you really do. I mean, my partner, Angela, I mean, she was like, wow, yeah. Young Jack here, he's 14. He's coming up with us on the 4th, yeah. And the 18th.
Hey, buddy.
Cannot wait to get in these forests and have a look around and see what you've found.
It would be lovely to share what we've seen with someone else and get someone else's opinion. It would be amazing.
I know what you mean there. I know what you mean. Because, I mean, I'm hoping that, I've got another one. I'm hoping, because I'm quite sensitive. I've been doing this. I know I don't look that old, but I've been doing this for over 44 years now.
Wow.
And it's a lifetime hobby that I keep trying to remove myself from, and I just can't, because people will contact me, or something will happen, an event, or I'm told I've got to tell somebody something, or I'm not allowed, but I've got help here. And I can actually go into areas and I can sense if there's people in the bushes. I can sense if there's a cat over there. I can sense if there's a spirit. I can sense if there's, hopefully, a Bigfoot. Hopefully, yeah. I'm saying I can't promise. Same as if you ever come paranormal with us, I can't promise you're going to make contact with a spirit. All I can do is give you the very best setting and the best of luck to do so, yeah. I mean, like, we're going to come down to you. We may come into the forest, and there may be no sounds, there may be no footprints, there may be no tree structures, I mean, no dens. But you know, on the other hand, I may say, hang around a minute, I can feel something here.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain how I do it. It's hard. Paul will tell you he has a different way of contacting spirits. We when we're both together, we're both that little bit stronger. I said to Paul, for instance, about 6 weeks ago, I said he wants you to touch this and feel it and whatever. And I could already see it, but as soon as Paul touched it, he went, wow. And he could see the whole kitchen, the whole lot, yeah, on a derelict building.
Wow.
From the 11th century, 1102 it was built, this building, and I could actually see the kitchen and the people working in it. I described it to a T, just by feeling the energy in the wall.
Wow.
Incredible.
And I will tell you something about Jill. A year ago, she would not have any kind of and even me, I wouldn't have any interest in this. But it shows from a year how much you can do in a year, how much it grows. It's like all these people on tonight I'm friends with, and we've grown together, and they've shared stuff with me. I've shared stuff with them, and I think as then we grow, which is what I'm hoping to do with the event, is kind of bring a lot of people together to then kind of get kind of a community, which is why I'm bringing Darren that down and getting people to understand things that you see here, sightings of stuff. You can come talk to us about it. That's what I want. I want more people. The more evidence we get together, the more we're gonna get, and the more we join together, the more good stuff we get like this.
Absolutely.
The more
Absolutely.
we're gonna get.
And plus the fact, what you made a very good point there, and I mean, we've said this before on the show. You know, you said getting other people to come and talk to us about it. Yeah, that's the key, because there is so many people out there that have seen a UFO, they've seen strange lights in the sky, they've heard such strange sounds out the, you know, the back window or whatever. They've heard the calls of big cats. They've seen shapes or shadows, or the doors slammed, or the plates have rattled, or whatever that they can't explain, but they haven't got anyone they can tell without taking the mickey out of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's also that. Sorry, Darren, go on. Sorry.
Well, we're ridiculed. Oh yeah. I mean, I've got South Coast Ghosts on my obviously profile. So I mean, obviously, like Paul, I'm very car orientated. I'm in the trade. All my mates are mechanics, and I'd like to help people. I look on forums, and I see somebody's got a problem with a Range Rover or something like that, where they go, oh, it's not going up and down right. And I go, right, have you checked the front right height sensor? And they go, no, they're all okay. Right, I bet you if you change the wire. And the first thing they turn around and go, oh yeah, and you believe in ghosts as well, don't you? Ha 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 ha. And it's like they take the mickey out of you because you believe in spirit. Yeah? Now, what I do feel sorry for these people is when they're lying on that bed, which inevitably, unfortunately, we're all going to do at some point in our lives, and we know we're not as young as we were anymore, and it might be the last time we get into bed. Without saying too bad, because I hate thinking like that. It's too morbid for me.
I got long left.
You're just starting your journey, Daniel. You're just starting your journey.
Yeah, but you know, they don't believe in anything there. Yeah. You know, they think that's it. Yeah. Which I think would be quite scary for me. It would be quite scary.
But also, you've got to think of the ripple effect, isn't it? You know, when you drop a stone in that water, it always starts off very small, but that ripple effect starts to grow, doesn't it? So once you drop that, exactly, Darren, once you drop that stone in, suddenly people think, oh, well, what was that I did see a couple of weeks ago? And then they say, you remember we were driving? Oh, yeah, do you remember seeing? Suddenly that small little ripple becomes a big ripple, becomes communication, becomes people thinking, I'll call Daniel or I'll try and contact you. I'm sure and then suddenly that map that you're creating, you start to get sightings in this map that may well lead you to sort of look at it and think, I know where it hunts. I know where it could be. And I got a good idea where it could go, you know, and that's because people like-minded.
And Paul, I'm very, very much hoping that's the case. And I will also dwell on what you said. Is that's in a good way of like growing, but then if you turn to then when people were then either retired or too like physically old to do it. It's like one of the brilliant minds of
Jill, is he having a pop at you, Jill? Is he having a go?
I think so. He's telling me that when he's famous, of course,
you see what happens. You see what happens.
I think you might put your foot in it, Daniel. I think you might put your foot in it, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
You're grounded now. Nan's gonna ground you now. Tell him, Nan.
Well, I think what really drives everybody inside on this. I mean, you're saying you and Jill and Nan were a year ago. Somebody turned around basically and I'm not interested. I think once we start, because it's easy not to investigate the unknown. Yeah. Yes. It's easy to have the ostrich syndrome and stick your head in the sand and no, it doesn't exist. Yeah. I think once you pull your head out of the sand and you start to question things, you suddenly get interested in it.
Yeah.
It's a weird. It's very addictive. Very addictive.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
once you've got one question answered, you go on to the next. I mean,
that's what happens with us.
Yeah.
Every little thing brings out like 3 or 4 other things, and every one of those brings out more and more.
Yeah.
Every action has a reaction.
I mean, to me,
that's what you've got to remember, isn't it? Every action has a reaction.
Absolutely. Like I say, every plus has a minus. Every minus has a plus.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have that light to light in the first place. So every negative has to have a positive. Every negative has a positive. Yeah. But I mean, it's like the pyramids to me are the paranormal. Yeah. Now, this is how they dumb you down, by the way. Right? They go, oh, how did they ever get the rocks to the base of the pyramids? Because the rocks come from hundreds of miles away. Yeah. Well, it's quite simple, right? The Egyptians were masters with water, okay? Masters. And they basically diverted the Nile and so forth, and they just floated it up, yeah? Now, there's one city in Egypt where they came to realize that the Nile was actually going to change its path anyway, and whatever they did wasn't really going to stop it doing it, yeah? And the way they found this out is they found maps of this city, but the city was actually like 40 miles away from where the map was. And the Egyptians, being very good with the charts, they're like, well, how can they make this monumental boo-boo? Yeah. So then they suddenly realized what they did is the Egyptians had prior knowledge the Nile was going to change its path. So instead of abandon the city and rebuild somewhere else, they dismantled the whole city and transported it up the Nile and rebuilt it where they knew the Nile was going to change its path, which it did, and they rebuilt the whole city. So that is how they got the rock to the base of the pyramids, right? Now you've opened your minds now, yeah? You've solved the riddle, how they got that rock there. So now it opens up the question, the real question, which they dumb us down to stop us from asking. But now you're asking it because you're a paranormal researcher. How the hell did they lift it? How the hell did they cut it? And how the hell did they build it in the life of a pharaoh, which average age was 27 years of age? In the life of the pharaoh, they built a pyramid, which with today's technology would take us over 100 years to construct.
Oh,
this is the mystery.
So,
you know, another thing is going back to what we're on about from the pyramids, with the pyramids, is obviously the Egyptians, they believed in flight, they believed in the sun, they believed in the gods, they believed in all this. Now there is a strain of a DNA, of a blood type, which 20% of us all have, which the scientists say, and they've studied this relentlessly, it was only became evident at the time of the pyramids. Before the pyramids, it did not exist. Therefore, it was definitely introduced by an alien strain, i.e. an alien race. Yeah, you can check this out. Which also is the time when we had all this so forth, yeah, flying around, yeah, and when we had these great structures being built and so forth, yeah. It also coincides, what was it? You can trace all the events of families and so forth back to the pyramids, but you can't trace them any further. That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
1500 years BC is when this blood type, it's only 3,500 years, it's not long in the life of the human being, was introduced to us. Therefore, 20% of us are walking around half alien. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the X-Files, I believe that these programs telegraph what is to be, what is coming. Yeah. I think if we were told in the 60s that there was these huge UFOs over the White House watching us and so forth, and the Skinwalker Ranch and Bigfoot was real and stuff like that, I think we'd probably like poo ourselves a little.
If I jump in very briefly there and go, we are both, me and Jill, and I've said this multiple times, we are dangerously close to what we've been looking for, and by all the evidence by all the evidence in the world, and by everything, all we need is, it's like, I spoke to a researcher, and someone in America has got the same results as we have. Now that's huge, that they've got the same results that we have near a Bigfoot sighting. So
you know what, Daniel, but this is what I'm thinking, because obviously the body of an elephant, brain of a goldfish here. What if you could find out who this researcher is? Yeah, perhaps you could invite them on the show.
Yeah, and I have an idea on who it might be. And I need to do some confirmation into who it is.
Well, that's your expertise, mate. Yeah, that's your area. So
but what we need to do is, definitely, once we get that together, and we work as a team, we will then get to the bottom of everything. But all we have to do is work together as a team. And no matter what people say, I've had comments online saying, no, you're talking rubbish. And I've had comments. And I completely ignore them. And if we keep going and join as a team, it's in the event, when we join as a team together, we then move on to then go, right, let's now find what we've been looking for. And we are dangerously close to finding what Bigfoot is. We have DNA in front of us telling us that something isn't right. And I think we are getting very close.
When you've got primate DNA in the little woods in the middle of Somerset, it just shouldn't be there. I mean, the fact is, it shouldn't be there. We don't have monkeys hanging around in the wild in this country. Yeah.
No.
I just asked a question a second. Just in the woods where you were in your secret location, what's beyond the woods? Farmers' fields, roads.
So
what type of terrain is beyond that?
So we have we have fields and fields and fields. We have a forest next to it, which I can say this location is Windown Forest, which is close to this location. It's a massive forest, and that's where a lot of sightings have been cited, and it's all compact into there. And
we're the whole thing, Daniel, isn't it? If you sort of look on the map and Google it, we're part of the Quantock Hills.
Right.
It's farm fields and patches of forest. It all links up. It goes.
We are probably just on the outer thing of the Quantock Forest, aren't we?
But it would merge into Exmoor, into the big moors.
Right.
It could be hundreds and hundreds of miles.
So have you ever approached the local farmers?
Actually,
it was yesterday.
Yes.
It was literally yesterday. I said, Joe, look, we bumped into a farmer, and I kick myself for not asking him. And we bumped into a member of the public. I said, I'm gonna ask her, and she walked the other way. I think I'm gonna start to on our expeditions. I'm gonna ask anyone around me and go, look, do you know any stories of? And now my name's becoming more known. It's like I was in the park today and people came and said, you're that youngest cryptozoologist. And once our name starts to go a bit bigger, then people will begin to trust. When they've trusted, we then move on from there. But I am now currently locating this farm to try and get the address to see if I can give him a ring and see what comes up with it.
Have you thought about speaking to the local Bobby? You know, the local policeman that does around your area. You know, it's just going to sound as mad as the Hatter, isn't it, to them? But
that's not a hard thing to do for Daniel.
Say, Paul. The issue is my dad's a police officer. That's an issue. So that's an issue.
Oh well, no good asking Dad.
Be straightforward then.
Yeah. Get your dad digging then.
You can also do freedom of information requests, yeah? To the government. Freedom of information requests. How many animals, you know, any strange sightings or any strange goings on. You think of the strange goings on and list them and send that off to Freedom of Information.
You guys will notice in the event I'm currently working on we'll have a kids area as well, and my job is going to be to get the kids interested as well, because what I'm hoping eventually is we're going to get the kids out there as well. Once we get them out there, they're going to start to be more interested. They're going to start to be more inclined to look at what's what. And I think that's our end goal, I think.
All right. Can I just interrupt 1 sec? I'm lovely to speak to you all, but I'm going to have to back out now, if that's okay with you all.
Take care, Jill. Nice to have met you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I think I'm going to do the same. I think I'm doing the same as well, guys. All right.
Daniel and I need to discuss some stuff.
Fine here.
Amazing.
Debbie says bye, Jill. Fantastic having you both on.
You both take care and have a good week.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a great
we'll
one.
speak soon, yeah?
Amazing, guys. Thanks.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
You take care. Bye. Take care.
Beyond the Path, thanks ever so much for coming on. It really does mean a lot to us if you can share us over there and try and somebody, you're more than welcome to come on. And I mean, obviously you've got your own group. I haven't checked you guys out yet because obviously I'm on here. I will do. If you've got your own group, perhaps you can come and share with some of your stories on here, because that's what we are. I mean, I've just got one coming here now, Graham. Good evening, mate. I couldn't interrupt Daniel there. Debbie's saying like this is the sort of guys we are beyond the path, yeah. We're friendly, we're open, and 100% transparency and 100% friendly, yeah. We're not adverse to any comments whatsoever. I mean, this is a friend of ours, Graham. He's based up Basingstoke area, Lowershill Castle. I'm not done Lowershill Castle. Quite interesting. Daniel, hopefully he sees this, because something knocking from inside the tower. That's almost like, was it like wood or whatever, Graham? I mean, because obviously Bigfoot do wood knocks to communicate with each other, yeah. So I mean, it's fenced off for safety reasons, yeah. He's going to post it on the Power Unified site. Cheers, Graham. Thank you. There's no logical explanation. Sounded like yeah. That's interesting. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, it's all interesting, isn't it? When you can't find the evidence or you can't work out why, it may be a place that maybe we could meet and sort of put our energies together and see whether we can actually pull something out. because you got to remember there's always residual energy left in these places, because it would have been, you know, terror, you know, it would have been a place of parties, a place of hunting, you know, so there's always going to be that residual energy left within the brick, within the grounds around it. And it could be something that we get together and put our energies together, that we suddenly pick up what's going on around them, you know.
Why don't
it's not a million miles away.
Yeah,
it's only Basingstoke area, so it's not a million miles away. It may be interesting going there and standing in its presence and think, you know what, this is what we're actually getting. Because you also got to remember that a lot of these old buildings and castles and things like that all have residual energy left in them. All right, Luke. They all have residual energy that's there, and I think half the time these places are crying out to tell you their story.
I think they are. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I do.
And the people within them, the spirits, they a lot of the times they want you to know about their life story. They want you to know about, you know, back in their time. And I think, you know, they do carry massive amounts of residual energy within the fabric of the building, if you like, because it's not always the building, it's the land that's also can be affected, can't it?
What's it built on? What's it built on? I mean, that ghost tour of Guildford, how did we all find that?
I thought it was very good, very funny, very good, but very informative.
Good.
I thought he was very, very good.
I was sat there on Sunday evening, yesterday evening, and Julia messaged me. She went, how did the ghost tour go and whatever? I said it was absolutely awesome. I said, I just wish it was tonight that we were doing it. So I was on it again now. I said it was absolutely fantastic. He recognised me. That's why I was walking at the front with him, because I was talking to him about Joe, because he didn't know Joe had gone.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I left her because she was a bit bossy. I said, whatever. I said, I don't do that sort of thing. He said, fair play. He said, she was a little bit overbetting that night. I said, well, you do know she's gone. He went, no. He says, poor Joe. No. He says, because that night, she did if you look on Facebook, there's an event. It's still on there now. Come and talk to our spirit experienced medium of 35 years plus. Don't know who that was. And a couple of them actually brought meters along with them. Right? Can you believe that? They brought meters along and apps on their phone. And there was a couple of newbies that had been dragged along, basically, and they left him a really bad review. They said that he went in the graveyard, he was dancing on somebody's grave, laughing, and there was no activity throughout the night whatsoever. And they were just really, really spiteful. But Joe also, could you get me another one of them, please, Joe? You're good at them. Cheers, mate. And my other slave died just now, so I need a new one.
Worn them out.
2 a week, mate.
But I have had contact with him since Saturday.
Have you?
Yeah.
He's a great guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's texting me.
Do you know he does Jack the Ripper tours as well?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
And I meant to have mentioned it to him that night when we were there, but didn't get the opportunity. But he's texted me after the walk. He's texted me a couple of times with some interesting things, very good. Yeah, so he's very good at what he does. And I, going down past the castle, you know what? I could feel something in that alley.
That's Victoria.
I think so. I'm not so sure. Maybe.
I got a woman with a pram.
I had a man with a dog and a cane.
Man with a dog.
Yeah. And then when you got to the bottom of the arch, and then we went round to the museum, and he talked about the dog, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that sort of reaffirmed that's what I must have felt, because I saw the man walking the dog with a cane.
Well, Dora and myself were talking yesterday about it, and she said she felt something. She thought she saw something inside the museum. I said, "Well, I did as well."
It went like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I thought Nigel stick his camera there, so I think Nigel saw something.
Yeah. I did as well near the archway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also opposite that pub, just across the road.
What?
I
Which pub
stood
was that? The
against
Three Pigeons.
just
yeah.
after the museum.
Yeah.
I felt like something like I stood on the pavement, but pavement had like a metal. I don't know how you call that.
Like a handrail.
When rain goes in it. And I stood with it with my foot on it, and I just felt like someone knocked my foot underneath.
Yeah. But Guildford is very known for its haunted activity. I mean, the energy is quite rife in there because you've got a lot of the students running around. So you've got a lot of energy within the pub. I think if you went back when half term was there, or the whole town sort of goes quiet, especially down past the castle and down to that pub, I'm sure that you'd end up picking something up because you've got all them.
Haunted town, isn't it? It's a really haunted.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think, yeah, the Star is Debbie. Yeah. Star Inn is very haunted. So obviously, I mean, he's a fantastic player at tours. I mean, who could wish for better than that? But I mean, as he said, you know, he knows there's that much. He believes that much, yeah, and that's what we believe in, yeah. We we go that much, yeah, and I think you're 100% right. I think we get loads of stuff.
Yeah.
And I have thought about doing Guildford before. But what's put me off is all the idiots.
Yeah.
Because as he turned around and said, you have to be streetwise.
Yeah.
Because Guildford, I was in the men's toilets the other day and I felt the presence of a man. Anyway.
All right. Was he holding your hand?
Yeah. Well, he said he tried to hold my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He couldn't work out how many legs you had. Yeah.
No, I was deformed. Anyway.
But I mean, if you're interested, I could always go back to him about the Ripper and see whether he would do something, you know, in that. But also, you've got to remember, you can go up to Whitechapel in London and go on a Ripper tour in London.
We was looking on that, didn't I?
Train it up to London to Whitechapel. You can do a Ripper tour around Whitechapel. Yeah. Although obviously the scenery changed from the years prior, but a lot of plaques and a lot of things are the same.
He actually does it. He does the tour around Whitechapel.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If we approached him, if there was enough interest in that,
I'd like to go with him.
Yeah, if there's enough interest in it, then it'd be worth approaching him and saying, right, you know, as a private tour, you know, what are we looking at? I say he's texted me a couple of times after, you know, what fantastic group, what great night I had, and you know, I hoped everybody enjoyed it, and you know, it was a bit of silliness, but you know, none of you took it really seriously and got offended by my actions. And I said to him, that's what I said to you in the very beginning. You know, we wouldn't be offended.
No.
And having listened to his background, where he's a member of the Ghost Club of Great Britain.
Yeah.
You know, so he's got a very credible background.
Oh, very, very, very. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that castle that he showed us, he used to run that. Up until the old
saying, didn't he?
Well, Gary, you can get us a reduced rate then. Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to kidnap Luke. No, fact, we won't.
You can have Luke. We'll donate Luke. But we could. There's nothing to stop us approaching him about doing. If people are interested in a Ripper tour.
Well, I'm definitely up for that, mate. I'm definitely.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
Definitely up for it.
Yeah, me too.
Jack's gone. I am. I mean,
But obviously,
then, like,
again, in Whitechapel, you've got to be streetwise, haven't you, around that type of area? But he's very streetwise anyway, isn't he?
he's safe, mate. He's safe.
Yeah, yeah. I might approach him. I'll give it a little while and then approach him and say, look, you know, are you interested in this? And
How
I'm sure
many
there was
people minimum?
and then you just put it out there and, you know, obviously you don't want 30, 40, 50 people because that's just be a nightmare logistically, wouldn't it? To get everybody there and, you know, keep it to
how many... Well, Paul,
15.
Paul. Wait,
Yeah, well, guess what? We're not arranging it this time.
Yeah, go on.
The way it goes, right, is
Yeah,
everybody, if it's 15 quid, which I think it is 15 quid.
yeah,
If you really, really want to do something, right, like the other night, he was over 2 hours. You know that? The other night. He
Yeah.
was over 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes. It's only an hour and a half. You know, he was 45 minutes added on for us, yeah, which you've got a guy for that, you know what I mean? But if it's a tenner and you want to do something for a tenner, you'll find that tenner, right?
yeah,
And you'll pay it up front, right? I've paid for the Widdowson's Christmas meal on the 17th last week. It's a tenner's deposit, yeah? Bang, backed it, yeah? If you've paid it, right, and you don't make it, well, it's down to you, right? Well, I would imagine us lot would all sort of jump on the train together because you don't want to be taking cars up there and things. Well, you might do, it's only Whitechapel. But I mean, one car takes 5 people. We need to arrange the logistics better as well this time, yeah? Because I mean, me, Dora, and Nigel will live next door to each other, basically, yeah. So we need to arrange it logistically better. The reason I was a bit lax on Saturday was because I had the kids down at the Great South Run. They were both running in the junior run, yeah. So it was a little bit sort of that, yeah. I'm not sleeping at night at the minute because of my back. I probably some nights I go to bed at 2:30, 3 in the morning. And I'm up again at 6 o'clock, and it's like I'm in the daytime, and it's just, and Saturday was just one of them days. But logistically, we have to get a match together and say, hang about a minute, what's the point in us all driving the same bloody road and playing the same fuel? Yeah. We've done it before, we'll do it again. And also, plan how we're going to get into Whitechapel. Plan if we're going to do it in the morning or we're going to do something else while we're up there. Yeah. I think it's worthwhile instead of an hour's change journey there and hour and 15 back or whatever it's going to be. Book it on Trainline. It's a lot cheaper if you book it in advance as well. I mean, you can get it for like a tenner or something. And the people that don't make it, right, they don't make it. You can't force them, you know, to get on the train on time. You can't do this. There's unfortunate things, yeah, but not everybody. So I worry too much about everybody being there. I worry about making sure everybody's got a seat on the bus, yeah. I worry that everybody's going to be there to do something and eat and so forth. But there's some of these, you spoil it for yourself, mate, yeah? You know what I mean? Like you were spoiling it. That's why I went quite heavy. And I said, look, everybody, you want to come, you pay your deposits, shut off date, blah, 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 yeah? And I put the people that are paid and I put the people that hadn't. And it was simple as that, yeah? Well, you all said you wanted to come, didn't you? And I could see the stress that's coming on you. You just had a bloody heart attack. And I don't want you getting more ill, yeah? So over people paying a tenner. And that's why I did it. That's why I did it. And I think you understand why I did it.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, it's like when Julia does events and things like that, yeah? She sends out emails and says, look, if you don't pay, you don't come. It's nice. So, but I'm quite happy to do the Whitechapel tour. I think everybody, all of us are, dependent on time and date, obviously. You know, I didn't invite you, shut up. Anyway. How's your mum, Luke?
That is all right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You just have to have a look to see if she's still breathing. Oh, only got
Anyway,
the dog dug her up this afternoon. Anyway,
I'm gonna go because I've been at work. It's my first day for full back to work.
I'm going to end the live now anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody that's been watching. Thanks for everybody that's watched this. It really is a pleasure to have people viewing us and so forth. We've overrun by 10 minutes tonight. We haven't done too bad. Night, Debbie. Thanks so much for joining us.
Night, Debbie. Thank you for coming.
Right from here, we all mean it. Thank you so much. If you've got any questions, throw them in the groups. Put them at the end of this chat. If you want to come and meet us, join us next week, come and join us. We'd love to have you on, especially if you're somewhere like in the States or something. You know, we can talk one-on-one about how you do it and how we do it, and perhaps you've got some better things than we have. Yeah, we can implement over here, or we can do a joint investigation at different ends of the planet, if you like. Thanks, guys, and we will see you next week, 8:30, same time, each and every week, and we'll see you later. And that's it.